Hey everybody, it's me again, Dennis. And today I would like to share a little known fact about New Holland transmissions. I'm sure some of you already know this, but for those of you that don't and have a New Holland tractor, this can be very useful. And it has to do with the gearing in the transmission. It may be a little confusing as to why New Holland done this, but there are reasons. I can see why they would do this. But anyway, let me get to what I'm talking about so you'll understand. And so let's get right into it here. Alright, so we're going to start off in TN95, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to B range, B as in boy, and I'm going to go to 4th gear on the regular gear stick. So I'm going to idle the engine up to about 1,000 RPMs, and I'm going to put it in forwards and we're going to go. Now, watch the speed. We're going exactly 3.5 miles an hour. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go to the next range higher. I'm going to go to C range. And I'm going to put the regular gear stick in the 1st gear. I'm going to leave the RPMs the same, and I'm going to go. Now we're going 3.1 miles an hour. So, what does that mean? That means that you actually have a lower gear in the high range than you do in the next range down. So, what I'm getting at is, if you're in B range and you're in 3rd gear and you're going too slow, then you go to 4th gear in the B range and you're going too fast. Well, what you need to do is switch to C range and then go to 1st gear, and that will be approximately right in between B3 and B4. Now, why did New Holland do that? The only reason I can think of is to give you a good low gear in C range to start out with a heavy load. Like if you're getting ready to start out and go down the road, you need to be in C range for high speed travel. And if you're pulling a heavy load, you need a good low gear to get started off. So that is really the only reason I can think of why New Holland did that. Because John Deere doesn't do it that way, and if we have a John Deere 7610, and if you put it in C range and start off the 1st gear, it's pretty high speeded to take off with a load. But this is a 12x12 transmission in this tractor, and it works this way. But every New Holland 12x12 transmission that I've ever used has worked this way, including back all the way back to the early 90s when they had the 40 series Fords out with the 12x12 transmission. They also work this way. We have a 6640 Ford New Holland. It works this way. Also, if you're in B4 and you need a gear that is higher than B4, you need to be going to C2, because C1 is actually lower than B4. So that is the secret, I guess you could say, to New Holland transmission. Now, this also works in the New Holland dual command, which is basically just a 12x12 transmission with a high and low in each gear, a power shift in each gear, which makes it a 24x24. And I'm going to show you here in a few minutes, this also works in the Electro Command transmission. So stick with me and I'll show you that. Alright, so now we're in my T5 Electro Command, the T5 120, and I wanted to demonstrate that this transmission works the same way as the 12x12 as far as high range having a lower gear than the lower range. So we're in 8th gear, which is the highest gear in low range. So I'm gonna rev it up to about 1,000. All right, we're gonna look at our speed, and our speed is 3.2 miles an hour. All right, I'm going to stop. I'm going to put the range lever in high, and we're going to go to 9th gear. So let's take off. I did not change the RPMs. We're now going 2.9 to 3 miles an hour. So 9th gear is slower than 8th gear. So the moral of this story is, if you need a gear that's just a little bit lower than 8th gear, but not as low as 7th gear, let's see what 7th gear is, how fast it goes. See, 7th gear is 2.6. So 7th gear is just a little bit lower than 9th gear, and 8th gear is a little bit faster than 9th gear. So if you need a gear between 7th gear and 8th gear, you need to be in 9th gear. I know it doesn't make any sense, but that's just the way New Holland built their transmissions. And like I said before, I believe it's so you don't have to change ranges when trying to start out with a heavy load in high gear. You have a good low gear to take off with a heavy load. So I hope this helps. But this works in basically all New Holland tractors that I've ever owned. Anyway, it works in the 40 series Fords. It works in the TN series, the TL series, the 4000 series, which took the TN's place, the 5000 series, which took the TL's place. It works in the TS, works in the T5s, the T6. I've never owned a T7 or anything like that, so I couldn't tell you about that. But so I just wanted everybody to know how these transmission works, because if you don't really pay attention, if you've never really paid attention to these tractors really close, you probably wouldn't ever notice that that the way the transmission is. You would just, because your brain wants to tell you, okay, B range all the gears are lower, and C range all the gears are higher, so you might miss out on a gear that you need that's actually in the C range. So that's why I'm telling everybody about this, and I hope it helps people that have New Holland tractors. I hear complaints a lot about the 12-speed not having enough gears to do what people need to do, but I've used 12 speeds in these tractors for a long time, and about the only time that I have trouble finding the right gear is square bailing, and sometimes that's kind of takes a particular speed to get the punch bails out just right, to get the right amount of strokes in them. So I just thought I would let y'all know this. Hope it helps, and see y'all in the next video. If you like this, please hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you.